Je bent wat je doet. Niet wat je denkt dat je zou moeten doen. Wat we doen. Een radioprogramma dat ingaat op onze drijfveren en het bespreken van taboes. Hoe zou het komen dat we doen wat we doen? Elke vrijdag van 8 tot 9 uur 's avonds met je host Zᴜʟɪʟᴇ Bʟɪᴜ op de Powerstation SRS. Kom gezellig erbij en laat je inspireren. Goedenavond, welkom bij Wat We Doen. Mijn naam is Zᴜʟɪʟᴇ Bʟɪᴜ en naast mij... a whirlwind of talent, a whirlwind of creativity, and a whirlwind of light. Her name is Peggy Merkus, 38-jarige private chef. Die woont in Miami. En dat is niet alles. Dus als ik je was, schuif dichterbij en kom luisteren. Welkom, Peggy.
Dankjewel. Thank you for having me.
Yes, je bent nu in Suriname.
Ja.
Op vakantie.
Ja.
Ja, dus ik dacht van, weet je, ik ga Peggy vragen voor wat we doen. Want ik wil weten wat Peggy doet. En zoals we het vaker doen, is we beginnen bij die route toch. Vertel mij, wie is je ma, wie is je pa?
So, my father was Humbert Merkus. He passed away. En mijn moeder is Joyce Bachit.
Oké. En als ik zeg, op wie lijkt Peggy het meest? Dan zeg jij?
I don't know, I have both. Mijn moeder en mijn vader een beetje.
Mm-hmm. Wat heb je van je ma?
Gosh, she's a little, I guess, caring. I don't know. I don't know.
Caring.
Yeah, she's caring and she gets very like anxious and stuff. So I have that, I think, from her.
Okay. En van daddy?
From hem heb ik het koken. Het koken heb ik van hem. And yeah, and there's, I don't know, there's a lot more things. But now you catch me on the spot. So I'm like,
But this is the spot. What we do is always on the spot, you know? Maar het is wel belangrijk. Want kijk, koken is dat ding, die rode draad in je leven. En breng me terug naar die dag dat je echt met papa aan het koken was. En je dacht van, ik vind het echt leuk.
So I was 8 years old and we were cooking in the kitchen. And that was the bonding that we had, you know, the cooking part and stuff was the bonding that we had. It wasn't until years later that I decided that I'm gonna, cook.
Okay, nice. En mama, papa, broers, zusters, hoe ziet dat gezin eruit?
Well, my father, I guess, I don't know if I can say it on this podcast, but my father is something that I learned to accept. He had a lot of kids from different. So my sisters and I are saying like, "Sa mucho pa."
Je mag alles zeggen hier, want die zijn er ook.
Because now I accept it. It's like, yeah, I have sisters, half sisters here, and so. But with my mom and we have 7. There were 6 of us. Nu zijn er 5 van ons. My older sister passed away last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oké, en die 5, 6, die zijn met je moeder?
Ja.
En heeft hij nog meer?
Ja. Voordien.
Ken je ze?
Ja, ik ken ze. We talk and everything. But now, as we get older, not as much. Everybody has their lives.
Ja. Maar hoe was het dan opgroeien met zo'n moetje pa's vader dan?
Growing up with my dad, yeah. I know my dad loved us. Maybe my sisters will hate me now for saying this, but I know my dad loved us, but he was not good for the women in his life, He was not good for my mom. And later on, after me going to therapy and everything else, I realized that, it wasn't good. It was a very toxic, environment for us. But my second older sister, she really raised us, and she's an amazing woman, and God, I love her. Yeah.
Because if you look back at your life now with your relationship with men, have you struggled by having a father like that?
I have. So I didn't realize, my dad was a narcissist. So I didn't realize that I picked the same man as my dad. When I got married, my ex-husband, he was just like my dad.
How old were you when you got married?
I was I was 19.
19.
No, I had just turned 20,
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Wat we doen. And you say this word narcissist because I hear that word a lot.
Now you hear it a lot, but it's like,
It's something that, if we talk about narcissists, the thing that I find intriguing is to go into the piece of material of narcissists. What are the things that narcissists have?
So for me, it was, he was very manipulative. So he would use things like if he would hit me, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he would hit me, he would say, afterwards, he would say, if you didn't do this, if you didn't say this, I wouldn't hit you, it would, so he would make you feel guilty, make you feel, if you didn't do this, I wouldn't do that. Oh, because if you did this, and then also he would keep me away from my family. I wasn't able to talk to my family for more than 2 minutes out of every month, and yeah, I was always.
So now you're talking about your husband, huh?
Yeah, now I'm talking my ex-husband.
But how did he achieve not letting you go to your family? What would he say?
So I was, for one, I was out of the country. And yes, I traveled a lot, but he always had my passport,
Wow.
So he'd always keep my passport. So I couldn't just like up and,
You sound like a pimp.
Yeah, but he was, he's a very intelligent, very smart. You would see him. We would go to the White House, here. We'd go to the ambassador, He was very high level, like, and you would never know until you have experience being with someone like this or being around someone like, then you start recognizing it, And it's like, okay, this person.
Je zegt net heel iets moois van, ik was al in het buitenland. Kan je ons brengen naar, want op je 18e ben je vertrokken naar Amerika.
Yeah.
Om wat te doen?
So I met my ex-husband and I got so in love. I was so in, and my family didn't like him. And the one thing I can tell you guys, if your family doesn't like somebody,
something stinks.
Honey, run.
Yeah. Weet je wat waarmee ik het heb? Ik heb het ook in een van mijn werk. Heb ik van moeder weet van baarmoeder tot intuïtie. Dus als moeder spreekt, luister goed.
Ja.
En meestal zeggen we van ja, het is niet zo, maar uiteindelijk wel. Dus 18 jaar, toen ging je...
So I went with him, So I got there and we got, a few days later, I can speak English very well. So got there, signed a prenup before I got married, which was with one of his friends. And I didn't know what I was signing, but that's beside the point. And yeah, we went to the courthouse and we got married. My family didn't know that I was married for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, no one knew.
For how long were you married in silence?
So I was married in silence, I think, for 2 years. And then I told my family, and every time he would say, yeah, I would have a wedding.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Voortdurend onderweg.
De weg naar morgen.
Maar dan, hoe reageerde je familie? Breng ons naar die dag dat je zo je moeder vertelde.
I can't remember what they said, but I do know that they were angry.
Yeah.
They were not happy about it.
Yeah. And how long did it take before your eyes opened up to this narcissist?
So I left him. So we were in Italy, and in Italy, he was traveling a lot. And I was alone a lot with other military wives and stuff. So I started hanging out with them and I was like, oh, these relationships are, different. So I think it was around year 6 in our marriage. But before that, I was already starting to see. But then during year 6, I was like, you know what? When we go back to the US, if things don't change, I'm going to find my way. I'm going to leave. I'm going to find a way to to leave out of here, because it's like, their relationship were totally different than mine. And it was, their husbands were there. And then he would start seeing me with these women, and then he would start saying things about them, how they're bad, how they're not, that they're not good. They're the one of them that I'm really good with. He would say it could end his career, ruin our career, because her husband is an enlisted and he was an officer. So officers' wives and enlisted couldn't,
What would Doen? So was this an abusive relationship?
It was very abusive.
Mentally, physically?
It was a lot of physical abuse, but for me, the mental abuse was worse than the physical abuse. So it really, I could say, really fucked me up.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Ja. Oké. Je ging om te trouwen, maar je ging ook voor studie.
Ik ging voor studie, but I didn't get to study until I myself signed up for school. I was like, when I came back to the US, and he was like, oh, you can use the GI Bill, because as a military, you're able to use the GI Bill, and you don't have to pay for, depending on your rank in the military, you get a certain amount, and mine would been covered all the way, but it wasn't, because he wasn't letting me use the GI Bill. So I paid for school out of my own pocket, and I got a loan and everything.
And when did you start with school?
When we came back to the US, I think I started school back in 2009.
Yeah.
And I graduated in 2011. And my sister and my best friend and my sister's best friend came for my graduation.
Okay. And then he was good riddance.
Well, it wasn't that easy. I had to, something happened, and the police got involved. So they came to the house and they were like, ma'am, are you safe? Do you want us to leave with one? And I was like, no, because at that point, I wasn't sure where I was going or whatnot. Yeah. So the next day I was at work, and I get a phone call at work, and there was a detective on the phone, and he was like, ma'am, I got your number from this officer that was at your house yesterday, and he told me to call you. I'm from this unit, and he felt like you were scared. If there's something going on, ma'am, tell me, we can protect you. And I broke down and I started to tell him everything. And he was like, ma'am, we're going to help you. So he got me in touch with Women in Distress. And this lady from Women in Distress, she started to tell me what to do. And she was like, first thing, what do you contact your family and open up a bank account and stuff. And so I contacted my family, and they were like, what do you need? And I was like, money. And they sent me money. My best friend sent me money. I opened up the bank account to where I was able to deposit that money in the account. And first thing I did, I bought a car because I didn't have my own car at that point. And then she was like, you need to find your passport. And I found my passport, and she was like, but act normal, like be normal around the house, And so every day I was able to get important documents out of the house.
But he didn't know you had a car?
No, it was parked at one of my good friends' home for, I think, 2 weeks or so. And I started to get those things every day. I would take it to work and give it to one of my friends, and she would keep it for me. Yeah. And then the day came, and the lady was like, okay, when you're ready, you call this number. And I called the number, and she said they would help you get everything out. The police came, but when the police came, he was like, oh, she can go if she wants. I don't know why she's, So they only gave me 15 minutes to take what I needed. And it was, when I left him, and then he would call, threaten, and then he asked to, we need to resolve this and everything. And he was like, But then, so we met one day, and then he started to like be back on the same track. And I was like, no, I can't. My friends helped me to get a lawyer. But since I didn't have, the money, I wasn't a very good lawyer. So it took 3 years because he had all the money and he could fight me. So 3 years we were fighting back and forth because we had houses and everything, and everything was bought with my money. But you couldn't see it because what he had me do was like every week when I would get paid, he would have me take the money out of my account, like out of the ATM, and give it to him cash. And all he would say was like, when you've paid off everything, all the houses, then it's all gonna be in your name. But what I didn't realize is like in the prenup, it stated everything that was in his name stays in his name, and everything that's in mine. And of course, I had nothing. But 2014 December, I was like, I've had enough of fighting and everything. I said to the lawyers, you know what, let them drop the divorce papers. I'm done. I want nothing. And it took a while, it took a lot it took a lot of healing when it came to like finances. I didn't know, like I had to learn that the reason why I stopped saving money and everything was because one of the things was that I was always afraid that why all these years I've worked so hard and then everything was taken away from me. So
why save?
Why, why do this? And then my therapist would tell me, Peggy, don't get in a relationship right away. But 3 months after I left my ex-husband, I was in another relationship. And then I was in another relationship.
Die loop, Shawty come around and groove the loop. You're the only one I need for true now you. Shawty come around and groove the look. They groove the look. Shawty come around and groove the look. You're the only one I need for true now you. Shawty come around and groove the look. They groove the
Mira moça, mira aqui. Lights out, heel loud, down low, mame killikimi. Chamitaga, shutifi. Ete me doro verde, uno nakish with mami. Alles aan me, one moro. Mina meter, chana skoro. They beat me in a slow. Alles aan me, one moro.
Baby, ik wil je bom, maar ben een terrorist. Je kan zitten op mijn bank, ben een therapist. En ik wil je lekker sminken, ben een visagist. Ik wil mijn pepperoni zetten waar je pizza is.
Por mi sofme que hice, por mi no me qued. Por mi sofme que hice, por mi no me qued.
Die loop, Shawty come around and groove the look. You're the only one I need for true now you. Shawty come around and groove the look. They groove the look. Shawty come around and groove the look. You're the only one I need for true now you. Shawty come around and groove the look. They groove the Baby go down, fuck it up. Op die dancehall en back it up. Ik ben met die gangsters hier op de blok. Ik bal net de keeper, ik lok het op weer. Mami doet te veel van die kokos. Mami is een freak, ze gaat loco. Ben je down, ik ben hier in je foto's. Denk je die is een andere noot. Alleen jou, your love, your love, yo. Alleen jou, your love, your love, yo.
Por mi sofme que hice, por mi no me qued. Por mi sofme que hice, por mi no me qued.
Die loop, Shawty come around and groove the look. You're the only one I need for true now you. Shawty come around and groove the look. They groove the look. Shawty come around and groove the look. You're the only one I need for true now you. Shawty come around and groove the look. They groove the
Mi lo ve falle, pande, grande su. Mi lo ve falle, no le su. Mi lo ve falle, pande, grande su. Mi lo ve falle, pande su. Mi lo ve falle, pande, grande su. Mi lo ve falle, no le su. Mi lo ve falle, no le su.
But if you look back now, what's the reason why you were jumping into one relationship to the next relationship, according to you?
It was because I wasn't healed. I wasn't healing. I kept it was the same pattern that I was following.
Yeah.
I kept following the same pattern over and over. And then 2017, things happened. And then we officially broke up like in, I think it was, I don't know, in April of 2018 or so. I don't know, was it April or June? It was right before the competition.
Culinary competition 2018.
Yeah. Yeah. So after that, after we broke up, I was like, I have to work on myself. I started to work and then things would come up, and I still had relationships, but nothing
Fast.
And then my fucking dumbass, like in 2019, I had we were really good friends for years. And then, one night, something happened, whatever, and then
What do you mean something happened?
we had sex.
Yeah.
And and then we started to have casual sex and whatnot. And then during COVID, and I got pregnant. So then when I got pregnant, and then October of 2020, when I got pregnant, things changed completely. And then I was like, I had the miscarriage in October, and that the minute that I started to get excited about it, I was like, you know what, I'll do this on my own or whatever. I had a miscarriage, and when I had the miscarriage, everything kind of like it went down for me, and I kind of got into this, depression and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm not done working on myself. There's still so much that I have to work on myself. So I stopped everything. I was like, okay, I'm done. I cannot blame anybody but myself, So there's so much still about me that I need to work on. And then, started to work on myself and more, the inner side, because I was smiling outside, but then the inside,
Yeah, because let's talk about the smiling. Because while these things are happening in your personal life, you are becoming a private chef caterer.
Yeah.
I saw that in 2016, you started Meals by Peggy.
Yeah.
And now it's Merkus Kitchen.
Yeah.
And your thing is love and passion in food. That's your love. So how did you combine this with your personal life? Let's go into the catering side. How did that look?
One thing I've learned to do is like block this. Like my personal life doesn't affect my work. Like
how do you do that?
I don't know. I might be home crying, but when I go to my client,
mask on.
It's not a mask, but it's like, and a lot of my clients know me personally, so they know, like, and if it's like I take care of them, and then so yeah.
So tell me, you say it's not a mask. What is it then? How do you maneuver that?
I've learned. Like one thing you have to do is like your personal life and your business is two separate things. Now I do share a little bit on my Instagram about my family and stuff. I share that. Yeah. People enjoy it. So I share a little bit about that, my nephews, my mom and everything. So I share because for me, it is a little bit about for them to also be open, so they can learn a little bit, say, you know what? Maybe there's this about me, maybe I can change, what is it? There's this anger or whatever. And they could just look and say, you know what?
Yeah, though, because you see in your vulnerability, you're strong. And I've seen too, like if you're known or if you're known for a business or whatever, people can identify with you even more when you share a bit of your personal life not everything.
Not everything.
But so it's a way, it's a path in your healings. That's how I see it.
It is a path in my healing. And then, and I, in January of 2021, I started, I was getting sick, and I've had, so then I don't like doctors. So then forcing of my sisters, I was like, okay, yes, I'm going to go to the doctor.
What we doen? Did you say you're getting sick? How did that look?
So my stomach started to swell up. I would start to, I would start to get throw up sometimes and whatnot. And then I look totally different. If you would see pictures from me now, you'd say, wow. So I
what, skinny?
The face would change, and my hair would start to fall and everything. So then I went to the doctor, and he was like, okay, we need to do a few scans. And I was like, okay, we got to hurry up because I have work to do. I have to be in Colorado and we're going to do this test, and the results is going to take 3 weeks, but I'm going to go. I can't wait for the results, but if the results are, I'll come back.
Okay.
So
would you do the same thing now?
I don't know.
Because if I listen to you, then what's important? What's priority?
For me right now, since it's my health is priority, but also you have to be also realistic, right? I know that everything is always working out for me, but I can't just sit there and wait for a tree to shake a tree,
Yeah.
I have to live.
Yeah.
I don't have I've lived 38 years. I've never had anyone like a man pay for anything for me, I've always done everything myself. So that's what I know. That's what I'm used to, right? So I have to live. I have, so last year was...
Let's go back to, you went to the doctor and then he did some research. What was the result?
So they did a biopsy, right? And then the doctor said, we have to do surgery. And I was like, can we not do the surgery? And he was like, no, we have to do the surgery. I was like, okay, schedule the surgery. And so they took out, I don't know if my right ovaries, and I had a few tumors so they took that out. And then my sister came with her son, my best friend came. But before they came, the flights were during COVID time, it wasn't the greatest coming there. So I was, last year, I was really at my lowest. I was at my lowest. I couldn't work much and everything. I went from having a business that was here to it went down. And, financially, I wasn't able to do a lot. I had to borrow money to be able to...
Yeah, because how's the medical... when we hear about the States medical care...
Medical care is a lot of money. I mean... when I got out of the hospital, my bill was $100,000.
What?
My medical bill. So then, yeah. So
how did you overcome? Okay, so what I hear, Peggy. Okay, first of all, coming out of a family with a much bad narcissist, being married to a narcissist herself, being young, wild and free, not knowing how life path is, going into that. In the meantime, leaving, starting your own business, through the healing, connecting with all these other souls, other entities, all of a sudden pregnant, thinking, wow. And then you get a miscarriage. And that was a sign eigenlijk then.
Yeah, it was a sign.
Because then it comes to the ovary, tumors in the ovary, financial problems again, all these things again. How did the path after that look? How does it look now?
My path is bright because I have amazing friends. One of my sister, my mom, my best friend, they're amazing people. I have so many amazing people in my life, and I'm crying because,
that's all right.
I mean, they have been there for me every step of the way. I think sometimes it might have been a little too much, like emotionally for them, but they have been there for me, even if they couldn't be there physically, but they have been there for me. So yeah, it's my baddest bride. I mean, in October, I had to do chemo. And I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want anybody to...
Chemo?
Yeah. I didn't want anybody to know.
Hey, dit is Nina de la Parra. Dit is Wat We Doen met Zᴜʟɪʟᴇ Bʟɪᴠ.
So bring me to that. Like, if I hear chemo, then I think, shit, je lichaam wordt geschud en allerlei veranderingen daarna.
A lot. I'll show you a picture. So what, for me, it was 8 weeks and you sit there and they put a tube, and you sit from like 7:30 to like 9:30.
Yeah.
But my sister told me the other day, wow, your skin looks totally different. So this was dark. My skin body was so sensitive. My face was like
all in.
Yeah, and it was
face.
It was hurting. I was so I guess now a lot of people will know because not everybody knows that I went through this. I haven't really shared much. Okay. So yeah, then one day my sister was like, Peggy, tell me what's going on really. And I kind of said, I haven't. So I hadn't really told her a lot because they have their own struggles, and I don't want them to be here and worry about me, And my best friend, they live in Tennessee now. So they've been amazing. Her and her husband, they would buy tickets for me. Like in December, they bought a ticket for me to be home with them because they don't want me to be alone. So it was New Year's Day because they're Russians and they don't celebrate Christmas, but they celebrate New Year's. New Year's is big. And people were coming at the house and she was, she had me look inside because I was like, what? I don't feel beautiful anymore, Your whole body, everything.
Yeah, because bring us into that. Like as a woman and you go to chemo, what happens mentally to you? Like how important was looking good?
Looking good for me after a while, after I started doing, working on myself I don't own any makeup. The only makeup I own is some mascara.
Always have been like that?
Mostly in my life, but then my sisters are like, put a little lipstick on. But now for me, I'm good. But it was also the point was for me looking in the mirror and not seeing my my sexy self, when I would look back at pictures when I would wear my bikini, when I would wear, sit there with my friends and just be a little glam, Yes. Walking into a building and be like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how did you deal with that?
With the help of my friends and my family, I've been able to, every day, with prayer. And my best friend, she said to me, Peggy, look at yourself in the mirror and promise me to tell yourself every day that you're beautiful. And every day I would start to tell myself I'm beautiful. And then, it's how we vibrate, right? When we are in low vibration, everything is low. But when we're in high vibration, things start to come your way, right? Everything starts coming your path. And I said, you know what? I want to live. And my best friend was like, you know what? You need to be with your family. You need to go home to your family and everything. And yes, things started to happen. I saw on Instagram, a friend of mine was posting about an esthetician that, I don't know how to say it anymore, but she does this facial.
Facelifts?
Yeah, but it's a buccal lifting. So she does it with hand, and...
massage.
Yeah, it's a massage. And so I met her and I went. She was just like... She and I are friends now. She's very spiritual and she's she also started to giving me that confidence. So since February, I've been going to her and she's been doing it. She's been, and just I started to feel, but you get days where you're
Well down.
yeah, but then, every day is
My girl, come flip it like a flippergram, flip it like a flippergram. Make your bumper flip like a flippergram, flip it like a flippergram, flip it like a flippergram. You're deaf, girl. Wind up on my body, girl. Why like it's a carnival? Girl, me love the way you wine for me. Girl, your wine is so emotional. So wind up on my body, girl. Me while you come wine your waistline for me. Baby, you're bubbling, baby. Girl, you a party animal. Girl, you active, no, you no lazy. Girl, you a party animal. To own your wine, you drive me crazy. Girl, you a party animal. You wine so good, you just so good. Girl, me love how you party. She take 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4. After 9 minutes, she come back for more. She take off the shoes and pound the dance floor. Then she start to broke out like a sword. Then she approach me just like a cure. Me know that she like me tonight, me a score. She sexy, she beautiful and she pure. Girl, I you me a door, so wind up on my body, girl. Wind us like a carnival. Girl, me love the way you wine for me. Girl, your wine is so emotional. So wind up on my body, girl. Me while you come wine your waistline for me. Baby, you're bubbling, baby. Girl, you a party animal. To own your wine, you drive me crazy. Girl, you a party animal. Girl, you active, no, you no lazy. Girl, you a party animal. You dance so good, you dress so good. Girl, me love how you party. Girl, you think up there. Me no know where you're from, but you think up there. Girl, if God send you to meet me tonight, me a follow you, I'm handing go back up there. No worry about your friends, they're with my friends. After the club, a party, palm me end. So girl, just flip it like a flippergram, flip it like a flippergram. Right this moment, wind up on my body, girl. Wine just like a carnival. Girl, me love the way you wine for me. Girl, your wine is so emotional. So wind up on my body, girl. Me while you come wine your waistline for me. Baby, you're bubbling, baby. Girl, you a party animal. Girl, you active, no, you no lazy. Girl, you a party animal. To own your wine, you drive me crazy. Girl, you a party animal. You dress so good, you wine so good. Girl, me love how you wine up on my body, girl. Wine just like carnival. Girl, me love the way you wine for me. Emotional body, girl. Me while you come wine your waistline for me. Bubbling, baby. Girl, you a party animal. Girl, you a party animal. Girl, you a party animal.
If somebody's listening now and going through the same thing, what are some other things that you would share?
one thing I would tell them, make sure you have a good support system. Find a good support system, because without a good support system, and you cannot have any like fighting and all that around you, you need a good, positive environment around you. And yeah.
If you look at your support system, is that whole support system, have they always been positive, or have you had your struggles within the support system as well?
I mean, you find your tribe, right?
Yeah.
And over the years, I found my tribe. As I started healing, I found my tribe.
Mm-hmm. How do you explain that?
So when you start healing, your healing process, people get a like
the magnet falls off.
Yeah, all of a sudden, something happens between someone and you're not friends anymore, or you become separate, and then you learn, like, you know what? Sometimes it's okay.
Loslaten.
You leren loslaten.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing. We always want to willen altijd vasthouden.
Ja.
Maar ja, we moeten learning to let go. It's an ongoing, it's kind of funny. I was coming here to Suriname, right? I was teaching classes on emotions, right? With the oils. And
So what, you teach classes about oils and emotions?
yes,
Je
but
bent van veel markten thuis hoor.
I am.
Vertel. What's
So-
this oils and emotions?
So the oils and emotions. So you can use the oils to help you with your emotions. But
And when you talk about oils, you talk about essential oils like myrrh, lavender.
yeah, I
Okay.
talk about those. But then, our last class we had was, I think it was 2019 at the Waag. We had our last class. And I went back home afterwards and I was like, how can I was asking myself questions, right? Like, why I'm teaching about these oils and stuff, but my inside of me, I'm still struggling. There's still a lot inside of me that I need to work on. And I guess COVID, and everything happened and I hadn't teach and I was like, I need to work on me inside. There's still so much inside of me that hasn't been, is still,
Dealt with.
yeah,
Timmerman also toch?
yeah.
But ik vind dat van die oliën en emoties. Breng ons een beetje daarin. Wat moeten we weten van essentiële oliën en hoe zij een connectie hebben met je emoties?
So essential oils are from plants, right? So komen van planten. So it's a living organism, right? Just like us. Every oil has a different working. You can use the oil for your health, and you can also use it for your emotions. So like lavender oil, right? I'll tell you a funny story. This is how I started to get into the oil. Lavender oil is the oil of communication. So when I met my best friend, I was organizing this Women's Mother's Day event. And we were going to do facials. I was going to take care of the food and, do a whole thing for moms. And then we had our meeting. And then the lady, one of my friends, Vilma, we were having the meeting at her spa. And she was like, I have this girl that I think might be good to come to the event. She does these oils and whatnot. I was like, oh, sure, let her come. Let her come to the meeting, and maybe if you guys like her, she can bring her oils and she can talk to people about this. So, because one thing with Russian people, this is one thing, not to jump from subject to subject, but one thing we can learn from these people, they will help each other no matter, they don't know. This is one thing Surinamese people need to learn from each other. They will help each other to get, they lift each other up. They make sure each other gets, where they need to be. So my best friend, she came and she was sitting there in a meeting. Everyone was talking about what they were going to do and whatnot. And then she started talking about her oils. And I was like, oh God, this woman is trying to sell her oils, but you know what? Let her talk. She's nice though. I like her. So she came the day she did her thing. Everybody loved her with the oils. And then as a thank you, she gave me a diffuser with lavender oil. And I was...
Zo'n stoomapparaat, hè?
Yeah, it's just like that. It's just precisely like that one, but it was a doTERRA. So I started to put it on inside the house, right? And my ex-boyfriend, he would come in the house and he'd be like, oh God, turn that thing off. It stinks. It smells. And I love lavender. And then I wouldn't turn it on when he was there. He didn't like communicating. He was such a lying, cheating, whatever. But that's a different story. So then I said to my best friend, what's wrong with it? Oh, Rob doesn't like it. And she was like, oh, Look it up. Look up what
Yes.
the emotional meaning of it is. Because lavender is the oil of communications, and I was like, now I get why. So yeah, so these oils, they have very different meanings. They're very different. You can use them for very many different things.
Which oil is the one for protection when you go somewhere?
So I use tea tree oil, or you can use On Guard for protection.
Okay.
But frankincense is the mother of all oil.
I love that oil.
Frankincense is it's the most expensive oil, but it is the mother. You can use one drop. I think I have my frankincense now for like 2 years, my bottle of it. Yeah, but it's good for
Nice. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I can't imagine what you're going through. I look at you and you look good.
I feel good. There's days like this week, my body was hurting and stuff. So, my mom and her sister, they're massaging, but yeah, you learn to live with things. You learn to be okay. You learn to accept.
Yeah.
You learn to accept. And yeah, there's days where you have emotions come out, and you say things, but yeah, you learn to live.
What would Doen? Private chef life.
Yeah.
How did that look? How does that look? Because if I think of private chef, I think, wow, this is really like you take care of people, one-on-one cooking.
Before COVID, the private chef life was great, and stuff. But now, just like with COVID, like everyone is a chef.
Yeah.
Everyone is a
that.
technician. Everyone is everything, right?
Yeah.
But now what I've learned, right? I have over the past few months, past year actually, I have, instead of me looking for people, I have people come to me. And I've learned that I'm not for everyone.
Yeah. Because what's your unique selling point? What is
Mine
important?
is love. And the client and I have to connect. I've learned that if I don't connect with them, we don't work.
Let me tell you one thing. People in Suriname, when I eat by you, I know because I feel the same way. It's with love. It's not just a technician.
It's not. And it's like,
it's a fiery.
If I don't feel like cooking, I don't cook.
And what are the things that you would like to share on that path where you really realize that is the thing?
Because I've had, money is not everything, but I love money.
Yeah, who doesn't?
but it's when the money doesn't come in a good way, it goes like that. It goes so fast, right?
Yeah.
So, but once I started to get the right clients, it stays. I'm able to, they will call somebody else. They will tell someone else about me, and it just flows.
Organic stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So with all this experience here, you've lived in Miami for quite some time now. You have roots in Suriname and you come back now and then. What is your opinion about the whole cuisine in Suriname? Like the restaurants? Where do you go to eat? How do you feel when you eat here? Like, bring us into that.
We've been eating a lot at home. I don't come to Suriname to eat American food or buitenlandse food. I want to come to Suriname and eat Suriname food.
But do you have a restaurant that provides that?
No, I have my family and my friends that provide that.
Okay. But how do you see the whole cuisine thing?
They have to work more on their, not the presentation, but value their Suriname foods more. Bring it more in the forefront, because when I tell an American about Suriname, right, they're like, okay, so what is Suriname? Why do they, tell me about Suriname and everything. So I don't know what to tell them sometimes, because when I would go online about the food, it's all, they have all these American foods, all these American things that don't have flavor for me, It's just like, I am sitting eating a club sandwich that costs 250 SRD.
A club sandwich.
Yeah.
Wat we doen. How is the whole Suriname community in Miami? Do you mingle in that? Is it
Not that much because it's like I realize it's like crabs in a bucket. Just like here in Suriname, mensen lullen met hun bek te veel. In plaats, de takismat, in plaats, je bent al zoveel jaren daar, maar je lult te veel met je bek and you still don't have your papers. You still don't, maar je lult in smatori. Al hele tijd over, there's no like
upliftment.
Just like here, I'm sorry to say, but just like here.
No, but please say, because we need to talk about these things to be able to deal with them. And you live
It's
a
scraps
while
in a
outside.
bucket.
Yeah, because what is your experience with the whole Suriname? Empathie, gun factor, that sort of thing.
There's none. I've tried, there's a few people that I keep in touch with, but then the rest I don't, I've learned after I've gotten sick, and everything. It's like, okay, there's two really good friends that I keep in touch with, and they're amazing, amazing women, But the rest, it's like, why do you guys want to come? We have 500,000 people in Suriname. Where I live, in Sunny Isles Beach, it's 5 million people already. And people are growing every day. But with 500,000 people here, we can do so much. There's so much in this country. Yes, there's corruption. There's corruption everywhere. But honey, be smart about it, Like grow. Don't talk about something or if I have something to say to you, if I've done something to you, come to me. Tell me about it. Let's talk about it. Let's communicate. But don't tell everyone about it, and then you're gonna, and then someone comes to me and says, this person says this, I say, honey, what that person told you, believe that. It's okay. Believe that.
Because that's this experience.
That's
with you.
There's 3 sides to a story. There's my side, their side, and then there's the truth.
Je wordt helemaal... Waarvoor kan men je 4 uur 's ochtends wakker maken?
My family and my friends can wake me up 4 o'clock in the morning and say if there's something wrong with them. If there's my nephews and my nieces, if they need to talk to somebody, they can wake me up. Or if they wanna, if they're there and you wanna go take a walk on the beach and watch the stars, and then we sit there and we meditate and we watch the sunrise.
Wat zijn die dingen waarvan je blij wordt? Where we can see a smile on your face.
One of them is my family, my nephews, my nieces, and my niece now. She has a son. Oh my God, he's so adorable. Yeah. Love him. Yeah. I guess, everything happens for a reason. I have nephews and nieces that are like my kids, You can what makes me happy too is like watching the sunrise and the sunset. Sitting on a mountain and watching the sunset, or sitting by the beach and watching the sunrise. Those things, that makes me happy. Or eating a delicious meal and just go like, that was made at home.
Indulging.
Yeah, those things make me happy. Or call me up at 5 a.m. Let's catch a flight.
Let's travel.
Yeah.
Nice. Wat we doen. They say you have cancer. I don't like to manifest. What are the things that you would like to be known for? What does your legacy look like?
For me, I have never thought about it. I'm not here for a legacy or anything. I'm here to live my life the way I wanted to live it. I want to live it. I want to live it, in happiness, abundance and peace, And that's it.
Ik vind het zo mooi dat je dat zegt. Like, dit weekend had ik een gesprek, hè. En het ging erover van... We concentrate, like if you would ask someone, how does your funeral look? Everybody knows it to the finesse. But if you ask someone, how does their life look to the light? People don't think about that. Because we're here now, bezig met het verschoningstraject van. En in jouw antwoord hoor ik dat. En als ik dat hoor, denk ik van... Moest gebeuren wat er is gebeurd om deze enlightenment te krijgen?
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, everything happens and our life is already planned out.
Yeah.
Our life is already planned out. We are here to, make the best of it. And yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but if I make a mistake or anything, I try to just own my mistake and just heal and just, yeah, I enjoy, like in the morning I wake up and I sit there on the balcony and I drink my coffee and I just like
live in the now.
Yeah, I live in the moment.
What would you tell the 8-year-old Peggy?
I tell the 8-year-old Peggy to stop. Don't look at your mom and dad fighting, Don't, don't look at your mom and dad fighting. And yeah, just forgive and just let it go.
You sure you would just tell her that? I mean, there's more.
There's more, but maybe my family might get upset if I say it, But,
okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. I want to thank you. Echt. You're beautiful. There's a certain light around you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, I see that. And I want to thank you for sharing this. Want dit is iets heel on-Surinaams.
Yeah, people don't talk about their feelings.
Takrusiki en dat soort dingen.
But there's no takrusiki. Yeah. I don't know if you... I can't come up with her name now, but every morning I read her book. Lᴜɪsᴛᴇ. Yeah. If you've heard of Lᴜɪsᴛᴇ,
yes.
Everything that we have, or create, we make it up, right?
Yeah.
And it's like this ease, right? So maybe someone might be able to go today to their parents or family and say, you know what, there's something that I want to talk to you about. That's hard for them to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that might be my legacy here. I don't know, even you ask.
It is. There's nothing, toeval bestaat niet. Yeah. En ik ben blij met mensen zoals jij, want daarom doe ik wat we doen. Weet je, het gaat om niet judgen. Ask for the why to know why the snare goes like that. Ask for the why to get the empathy that we need. En die gunfactor dat zo schaars is in het land. En dat mensen niet praten, weet je. Er gebeurt van alles en nog wat in het land. En dan denk ik van, ja, maar we praten niet.
No.
Release. So I'm very thankful for that. And I want to thank you for that. I wish you all the abundance of blessings that are for you. All the abundance of light. And keep on shining because you are light. Ik weet niet als je het door hebt, maar you're just a beaming light, En ik kom bij je eten.
Ja, kom maar over.
Ja man, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you there too als je hebt geluisterd. Ja, ik zou zeggen dankjewel. Als je meer wil horen, check ons op YouTube en Facebook. En wat je ook doet, hè. Ten eerste luister goed. Luister naar de intuïtie in jou. En wees niet bang om ermee te praten. Dat is het licht. Tot volgende week. Ciao, ciao. Je bent wat je doet. Niet wat je denkt dat je zou moeten doen. Wat we doen. Een radioprogramma dat ingaat op onze drijfveren en het bespreken van taboes. Hoe zou het komen dat we doen wat we doen? Elke vrijdag van 8 tot 9 uur 's avonds met je host Zᴜʟɪʟᴇ Blinker op de Power Station SRS. Kom gezellig erbij en laat je inspireren.